This segment's being sponsored by the Tennessee Wildlife Resources Agency. Join us in preserving and protecting Tennessee's wildlife.
I remember as a kid how I couldn't wait for Saturday mornings or Sunday afternoons to go turn on the TV and go fishing with guys like Bill Dance or Hank Parker, to be able to gain from their knowledge in the outdoors. And still today, I pay close attention to my buddies Brandon Dowdy and Anthony Landreth to gain from their wisdom as well. You know, if any of us were to ask these men advice in the outdoors and then after listening to them would tell them, "You're crazy, you don't know what you're talking about," well, we'd be the crazy one, right? Because the proof's in the pudding. Scripture tells us in James chapter 1 that if any of us lack wisdom, that we should go to God and ask for it. That God freely gives us that wisdom, and He generously gives us that wisdom. But that when we go, we need to ask with an attitude of believing, because the proof's in the pudding there as well. So my challenge for you this week is this: pay close attention to whose advice you actually listen to. There's a lot of people out there that's wanting to tell you how you should live, what you should wear, and where you should go. But it would be wise for us to pay close attention to advice about life from the one who actually created life. Hey, thanks for watching this week. We hope that you and your family are continuing to be blessed. And as always, keep shooting straight.
All right, guys, this week's call-in segment's being sponsored by our friends up at Taylor's Archery. You can find them at 100 East Lauderdale Street in Tullahoma, Tennessee. They're certified in Bowtech, Hoyt, Matthews, Mission, and Diamond. So whatever you got, they can work on it. They've got an indoor range there. And again, guys, we hit on it just a little bit earlier, but they've got a big-time giveaway going on right now. So y'all want to go find their Facebook page over the Taylor's Archery Facebook page and see how to get somebody signed up to win that bow.
That's awesome bow.
Guys, the phone lines are open. Y'all can call us now, 615-737-7767. Until then, I'm going to be picking Anthony's brain over here a little bit about these summertime crappie. And I had just a little something. I'm kind of throwing this at you now. You didn't, but last Saturday, we found some crappie. They were on a bridge piling where they were, and they were grouped up in there pretty good. At first, I was fishing, I'm going to say 7 feet deep on a float setup. We use slip floats a lot, you know, things like that. Well, started catching crappie. Well, we were catching
black nose, didn't you?
Black nose crappie.
Yeah.
So we're catching these little black nose. Okay, they're 7 foot, 8 foot down. Bubba goes down. He drops down about 14 foot. Boom, big slab white crappie. Do the black nose typically above the other species, or is it that the smaller crappie are above those bigger ones? What was the deal with that?
It's a little bit of both, Brandon. The black nose, it's a black crappie, but it's a mutation from a black crappie. It's got the stripe all the way down the back, lips, even up under the bottom jaw.
Yep.
Okay, but they'll hang around with black crappie, regular black crappie.
Yep.
Okay. What happens is a lot of times in the summertime, your white crappie are going to be a little deeper. And it's opposite in the spring. You'll catch white crappie up, and I mean in 8 inches of water. Right. I mean, sometimes you'll see their fins sticking out, especially if it's muddy. The white crappie love muddy water. But if you go down, like you said, it's a lot, and that's kind of one of my little tips I do use sometimes.
Did I mess you up?
No, that's all right. I still got another one. But you can go down, but it's hard to do if you're catching fish. You know, you really don't want to leave none.
Yeah.
But sometimes if you're in deep water like that, and bridge pylons is a perfect example, you go down deeper, and normally you'll catch some bigger ones when you do.
That's exactly how it worked. Like I say, it was almost like those little fish, those 8-inch, 9-inch crappie.
And those are good eating, don't get me wrong. Those 8 and 9s,
Yeah, that, you know, but of course for us, we have to have a 10-inch fish.
Right.
And we kept kicking them back, and as soon as he started a little bit deeper, it was on.
Yep.
You know, the bigger ones were just right underneath them. So.
And a lot of times they will school up. And another thing about crappie that a lot of people don't know, crappie is the biggest cannibalizing fish it is, basically, on each other like that. And I mean, because most other fish, all fish will do it, but not to the extent crappie will. So a lot of times what the bigger ones will do, they'll lay down, you know, the way their eyes on a crappie head, you know, they're an opportunist, you know. I mean, they will come up there. Really, that little small school, the smaller crappie could be like a school just of bait fish to some of them bigger ones.
Right.
and they don't think anything about it. But a lot of people don't realize that.
Yeah. Our crappie typically, they're mainly adjusted to cover right now, I guess, this time of year. You're looking for some kind of structure probably in a little bit deeper water right now, or what are, because you guys, again, the other day, Anthony caught, y'all kept 60 crappie.
We kept 60 crappie yesterday morning.
Kind of what were those fish doing? How deep were they, and what were you doing?
They were anywhere from 9 to 11 feet, and Brandon, it is no structure hardly in this lake.
So they were just grouped up in
they were just grouped up. Matter of fact, the lake I was on yesterday, and my buddy Sam Partley was with me, I told him, if you didn't see a fish on the graph, you wasn't catching them. But where you did see them, we basically went up and down a 200-yard stretch that was 9 to 11 foot deep. And all we would do, when at first we run maybe 100 yards past it and they shut off. Well, I said, man, let's turn around and go back. And we'll throw a buoy out on each end. And then once we do that, man, we just reel them up. Because I think I text you at 9:31, we had 60 crappie caught.
Yeah. And you sent a picture and posted it for those of y'all that might follow Anthony on Facebook. But you had a picture of the graph, and that's kind of why I asked the rhetorical
and
question.
And what it was, though, there was nothing there.
It was just like a low spot.
Well, it was a low spot.
Yep.
It was about 1.5 foot difference. It's a channel that comes in, and I just found this, and I fished this lake for years, but I just found this probably last fall, this one little spot. But I bet you it's not 8 foot wide, you know. Yeah. But once you find it, we have before just stopped it. If we look in there and it's stacked up so many, and we just reel up all 4 poles, and then we just start casting one, count down to about 9, and a lot of times you can just go ahead, you can about just count to 9 and set the hook, and it's going to be there.
Yeah. So that, I mean, they're active right now. A lot of people, you know, and I grew up the same way. You know good and well that in March and April and May, you know, you can wear them out.
That's right.
But after that, they're still feeding. They're still doing their thing. They've got to eat, and they're aggressive eaters, crappie are.
When I'm doing a crappie seminar, you know, Bill Dance is one taught me how to crappie fish. Tell everybody, my dad taught me how to fish, but Bill taught me how to crappie fish. And he would say, you know, when they're spawning, everybody's a pro. And you can ask a lot of people, hey, you catch any crappie? No, crappies quit biting. No, they didn't quit biting. You just don't know how to catch them.
They don't go dormant for 9 months.
No, they've got to eat the rest of the time. But it is, and the thing about summertime crappie too, Brandon, and you noticed the other day, if you can hone in on one, a crappie is a school fish.
Yeah,
he's very social. He's not going to be by himself.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah, once you catch one, his buddies are around.
That's right.
Well, I tell you, we're going to go on over and do this week's tip of the week for you guys. This week's tip of the week is being sponsored by Phoenix Custom Quality Rods. You guys can find all of their selection at phoenixrods.com. But right here in the state of Tennessee, if you'll call my buddy Jim Brewer at 931-213-1455, he can get you hooked up and get you on the lake with your own Phoenix rods. What do you got for us tonight, Anthony, on tip-wise?
It's about crappie too, because you know that's what I do most of the time. And you hit on it the other day, but the thing is keep your awareness about you when you catch them fish. If there's 2 people in the boat and one person, and you're fishing the same thing, and one's catching all, you know, 5 or 10 to 1 to the other one, stop and ask him, say, man, let's look at that.
What's the difference?
And your example the other day, you was using a red hook.
I was.
And Bubba was using a gold hook.
Same size hook, same brand of hook. I was using a red one. He was using a gold one. And I had literally was you know, 5, 6, 7 fish ahead of him at a time. And finally, you know, I told him, I said, Bubba, switch to a red hook, because I mean, we're fishing the same bed, the same fish with the same bait.
Yep.
And he switched to that red hook, and I mean, immediately he was right there with me. We were catching them. You know, that's all it was.
Yep.
Was the red hook versus a gold hook that day, and that was all the difference in the world. That's all it took.
That's right. I was using a Strike King Joker in the Hatchet River one day. My buddy Pirtle's in the back, same thing. I happened to catch one, and when I did, though, it's a Strike King Joker's got 3 tentacles off of it. Well, one of them broke off. So I didn't reach in there, and I mean, every time I dropped down, I was pulling them. And it dawned on me, and I told Pirtle, I said, let me see your jig. And I broke that bottom prong. I just pulled it off with my finger. He started catching them just as quick as I was.
Slightest little change.
But you know, it's those little changes. But the key to it, though, I guess the main tip is be aware of it. Stay aware of what's going on. You know, I've seen people, you throw over here and you catch a 1.5 pound crappie, and then their next cast, they're going over here. Man, don't do that. Jump right back where you caught that one.
Yeah, that's right. All right, well, guys, we're going to take a quick break. We'll be right back here in just a minute. We're going to keep the phone lines open for you. We'll have some more Southern Woods and Waters.